Hare Krishna. Let's begin our session with prayers. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra की जय श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय हरे कृष्णा. So we are continuing to discuss Bhagavad Gita after a long gap of more than 1 month. So we were in the 13th chapter. For those who have joined us very late, we finished 12 chapters, about 185 sessions of 40 minutes each. In case you want to revisit these sessions, they're all posted in the YouTube channel by the name Janaka Dasa, Janaka-Dasa. So you can go to the YouTube channel and can revisit these sessions. You can listen to it for the first time, and for those who want to revisit, please go ahead and do this. तो 13वां अध्याय से भगवान श्री कृष्ण ज्ञान का विभाग प्रारंभ करते हैं. पहले 6 अध्यायों में, in the first 6 chapters, Krishna taught about karma yoga, how the Lord can be attained by activities. In the next 6 chapters, chapter 7 to 12, अध्याय 7 से 12 तक, भगवान ने भक्ति योगा के बारे में विशेष रूप से बताया. Very specifically, elaborately, Krishna explained about bhakti yoga, actions in devotional service or devotional service to the Lord. And it is so important, devotional service to the Lord, bhakti yoga, bhakti में सेवा इतना महत्व रहता है भक्त के जीवन में. एक ग्रंथ है भक्ति रत्नाकरा, ocean of jewel filled devotional service. तो इस ग्रंथ में lot of interactions between devotees are explained. भक्तों के बीच कैसे एक दूसरे के साथ हमें कैसे रहना है, ये विस्तार रूप से इस ग्रंथ में उल्लेख है. So in this particular literature, all the devotees who are being described, they're teaching us how to lead a devotional life and what we must ask for the Lord. भगवान से हमें क्या प्रार्थना करना चाहिए? What is that we must ask from the Supreme Lord? हम कृष्णा से हमें क्या मांगना चाहिए? So very specifically, in all the waves of the chapter, there are about 15 waves. That means 15 different aspects that are taught in these chapters of Bhakti Ratnakara. तो उसमें कहा गया कि भगवान से हमें बस एक चीज मांगना चाहिए. What is that? शुद्ध कृष्ण भक्ति और कृष्ण भक्ति में सेवा. We must ask for pure love for Krishna, devotion for Krishna, and we must ask for eternal devotional, loving devotional service from Krishna. So Bhakti Ratnakara says there is no better jewel, there is no better or essential thing that we can have in our life except devotional service of the Lord. It doesn't matter in whatever stage we are in. We are all not pure devotees. हम सब शुद्ध भक्त नहीं है. वी आर वॉकिंग ऑन द पाथ ऑफ डिवोशनल सर्विस. साधना भक्ति, वैधि भक्ति के मार्ग में हम चल रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि राधानुग भक्ति प्राप्त कर लिया हमने. नॉट दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी अटेन्ड राधानुग भक्ति. जैसे में 1 minute. That is another stage, and that will come after tapasya of chanting Hare Krishna mantra for as long as the Lord wants us. It may be a few minutes for some people, कुछ लोगों के लिए कुछ महीनों के बाद, कुछ लोगों के लिए कुछ सालों के बाद, or probably for a person like me, after maybe many lifetimes. Long way to go. So this is the priceless jewel, the most invaluable jewel that we can have in our life. So this entire last 6 chapters, 7 to 12, Krishna talked about Bhakti Yoga. If Bhakti Yoga is the most important aspect of Bhagavad Gita, why we should study Karma Yoga, and now why are we starting Jnana Yoga? Bhakti is an encompassment of all the yogas. मतलब भक्ति योगा में सारे योगा मिश्रित हो गया है. मतलब it is the epitome, it is the culmination of all the yogas. मतलब ये योगा, वो योगा, वियोगा सब करके जो हम क्या बोलते रास्ते के क्या बोलते हैं अंत में जब आते हैं, the final destination, the final path, when we come, that path is Bhakti Yoga. तो घूम फिर के सब महसूस करके आना है भक्ति योगा में. या तो घूम फिर के आएंगे, या फिर गुरु गौरंग और कृष्णा का यदि आशीर्वाद है तो by the causeless mercy we can directly come to the process of devotional service. So most of us have come by the kripa of Guru onto the direct process of devotional service without having to have gone through many other processes. There might be some of you who, after many lifetimes of practicing different yogas, have come to this stage of practicing Bhakti Yoga. And there may be people like me who have no due credits of past life. पिछले जन्म का कोई पुण्य है नहीं, फिर भी भक्ति योग में आ गए. कैसे? अहैतु की कृपा से, by the causeless mercy of the spiritual master. There's no other way of explaining how people like me have come into Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna is now elaborately going to start describing about Jnana Yoga, and in the 13th chapter is discussing about nature, enjoyer and consciousness. Prakriti, Bhokta और प्रज्ञा, चेतना, इसके बारे में कृष्णा बहुत ही विस्तार से बात करेंगे. So last class we ended at the 4th shloka. We'll just revise the 4th shloka, maybe not the purport. We will revise the 4th shloka. What Krishna is intending to do. Krishna is now declaring to Arjuna, tat kshetram yaccha yadrukcha yad vikari yatascha yad sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, now please hear. Shrunu, tat me shrunu, hear me. Hear my brief description of this field of activity. Samasena, in brief, in a nutshell, summary. तो मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूं किन चीजों के बारे में. what things? तत्क्षेत्रम, the field of activity, and how it is constituted. Yaccha yadrukcha, then what its changes are. What are the changes of this field of activities? तो यद विकारी, तो एक क्षेत्र का क्या बदलाव है, क्या बदलाव होता रहता है. यतश्चयत, whence it is produced. and who that knower of field of activities is. Sachayo yat prabhavascha. Prabhava, from where it has been created, who created it, what is this kshetra, क्षेत्र क्या है, उसका आकार क्या है, उसका विकार क्या है, उसका उत्पत्ति कैसे हुआ, उसका उत्पन्न किसने किया, who created it, how he created, what constitutes the field of activities, and what are the different changes in the field of activities. Tat samasena mishrunu. So we'll just revise the purport. The Lord is describing the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities in their constitutional position. तो भगवान श्री कृष्णा हमें क्षेत्र के बारे में विस्तार से बताने वाले हैं, और क्षेत्रज्ञ कौन है? दो तरह के क्षेत्रज्ञ हैं, एक जीव और एक परमात्मा, एक आत्मा और परमात्मा, और इनके बारे में भगवान बताने वाले हैं, और इन दोनों के बीच में अंतर क्या है भगवान विस्तार रूप से बताने वाले हैं. One has to know how this body is constituted. तो इसको समझने के लिए ज्ञान योग की जरूरत है. So that is why in Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Yoga also has got its place. So it's not that Bhakti Yoga is just a sentiment. भक्ति योगा केवल एक क्या बोलते हैं मनोकल्पना नहीं है, मन चला आदत नहीं है, मन चला कार्य नहीं है. इट्स अ साइंटिफिक प्रोसेस, एक वैज्ञानिक तौर तरीके विधि विधान है. नॉट दैट whatever comes to the mind, whatever comes in the heart, it will be done. With great reposed faith and spiritual master, under his instructions, we take guidelines and we follow those guidelines. This constitutes the Vaidhi Bhakti Yoga, the Sadhana Bhakti Yoga. And Krishna talks about how this body is controlled, what is the constitution of this body. So in a way, what we have to say is, from now the analytical portion of Bhagavad Gita, of the material world, of how the world is created, how the world runs, what is our current disposition in this world, what is our eternal constitutional position, why we are here away from our eternal constitution, कैसे मतलब हमारा सांविधानिक स्थिति क्या है, और हमारी आज की परिस्थिति क्यों हुआ है. हम कृष्ण के भक्त थे, अब कृष्ण से दूर कैसे चले गए, और इसका परिणाम क्या है. ये सब इस next 6 chapters में, in the next 6 chapters we will come to know. And the 18th chapter is obviously the summary of Bhagavad Gita. So further continuing, how these changes are taking place, where from the changes are coming, what causes these changes, what are the reasons for these changes, what the ultimate goal of individual is, and what the actual form of individual soul is. मतलब Krishna is going to speak not just about the material world. Krishna केवल भौतिक जगत के बारे में विश्लेषण नहीं करेंगे, कृष्ण जीव के बारे में भी विश्लेषण करने वाले हैं. In a very analytical way, Krishna is going to explain to us. So one should also know the distinction between the individual living soul and super soul. तो भगवान परमात्मा और आत्मा का क्या अंतर है? Is Paramatma and Atma the same thing? Are they equally powerful? Or is there some difference? And what is that difference? The explanation of this is given in these analytical portions of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna also then goes on to talk about the different influences and potentials. What influences the soul? If something can influence super soul, what is that? And the potential, आत्मा का शक्ति क्या है, परमात्मा का शक्ति क्या है, और इन दोनों के शक्ति के बीच क्या अंतर है? What are the limitations? What are the strengths of the different potencies that the jiva and paramatma constitute? One just has to understand this Bhagavad Gita directly from the description given by the Supreme Person of Godhead. So भगवत गीता को अगर हमें संपूर्ण तरीके से, पूर्ण रूप से, सही तरीके से समझना है तो भगवान का निर्देशानुसार हमें भगवत गीता को समझना चाहिए, और भगवान का निर्देशानुसार, गुरु के मार्गदर्शन के अनुसार, गुरु और भक्तों के मार्गदर्शन के अनुसार हमें भगवत गीता को समझना चाहिए. But one should be careful not to consider the super soul, supreme personality of Godhead in every body and individual soul to be the jiva. तो कभी हमें यह गलती नहीं करना चाहिए कि हम ब्रह्मास्मि, ठीक है, I am godly, which means I am godly. It doesn't mean I am God. हम ब्रह्मास्मि को बहुत ही तोड़ मरोड़ के प्रेजेंट किया गया है by some unscrupulous elements who want to discredit Vedic culture, who want to discredit our Sanatana Dharma. सनातन धर्म को धक्के देने के लिए कुछ लोग तोड़ मरोड़ के हम ब्रह्मास्मि का विश्लेषण करते हैं. हम ब्रह्मास्मि का मतलब है I am godly. It doesn't mean I am God. I am a part of God. I am a part and participle of God. I am an amsha. मैं भगवान का एक अंश हूं लेकिन भगवान नहीं हूं. So this is an essential understanding of a Vaishnava Bhakta. Whereas a Mayavadi considers Jiva as transformed God who has come down and taken a lower position. And now by tapasya, by sadhana, he will eventually go on and become God. So it means to say that Mayavadis think that God, somebody can become God. Whereas Vaishnava Siddhanta says God is God, dog is dog. भगवान भगवान है और हम सब जीव उनके एक अंश है, उनके सेवक हैं. हम कभी भगवान नहीं बन सकते. We are godly, दैवांश है हम, देव नहीं है. We are not the Lord himself. So this is something like equalizing the potent and the impotent. Although a drop of water, a drop of seawater and seawater, chemical analysis, quality, same. There is going to be no difference. लेकिन क्वांटिटी वाइज क्या एक सागर के एक बूंद और सागर में कोई अंतर नहीं है? The potency of one drop of seawater and the potency of the entire sea, is it the same? Even a child will be able to say that no, there is a vast difference. The difference is of quantity, the potency, the quantity of that potency. The quality of potency may be the same. In percentage, it may be different. That is, in quantity, it is different. So, we will further continue. So, Krishna now begins the analytical study of Kshetra and the associated elements. So, like always, when we begin a new session after a long time, I've taken an elaborate introduction of about 20 minutes out of a 40-minute class. So Krishna continues, Rishibhir Bahuda Geetam Chandobhir Vividai Pratak Brahma Sutra Padaishaiva Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai. So Krishna is telling here that knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of the activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. तो ये जो ज्ञान है क्षेत्र के बारे में, क्षेत्रज्ञ के बारे में, कार्यों के बारे में, तो अनेक ऋषिभिर बहुधा गीतम, तो अनेक ऋषि अनेक अनेक तरीके से इसका विश्लेषण किए हुए हैं। इन वेरियस वैदिक राइटिंग्स चंदोबिर विविधाई पृथक, अलग अलग तरीके से बहुत सारे ऋषियों ने इसके बारे में विश्लेषण किया। इसलिए हम जब एक अधिकृत गुरु के मार्गदर्शन में नहीं चलेंगे तो हम भटक जाएंगे, तो यही समझेंगे कि हम भगवत गीता पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसका विश्लेषण उसका विश्लेषण पढ़ पढ़ के हम will become more confused. People who read many versions of Bhagavad Gita in the end become atheists. जो अनेक अनेक विश्लेषण भगवत गीता के from some philosopher, non devotee, भक्त अशुद्ध भक्त, मतलब अशुद्ध भक्तों से या अभक्तों से जब हम भगवत गीता के विश्लेषण सुनेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से एक दिन हम नास्तिक बन जाएंगे, because they will take us towards that direction. So we should always be careful. We must understand Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of a pure devotee. So this Bhagavad Gita, as it is, edited and compiled by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, is a bona fide source of Bhagavad Gita, the best source of Bhagavad Gita, because it is from the eyes of a pure devotee, and the pure devotee doesn't deviate from what the Lord has to say. भगवान के जो विश्लेषण है उससे भटकते नहीं है शुद्ध भक्त. So when we read Bhagavad Gita as it is, we are actually reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. यथा रूप में हम पढ़ रहे हैं. This is exactly what Krishna wants to tell us. Incidentally, there are 700 versions of English Bhagavad Gita in the world today. Now, this was told by Prabhupada about 50-60 years ago. अभी तो और भी बढ़ चुका होगा. So we have to be careful. What is our source of understanding Bhagavad Gita? So then, Prabhupada in the shloka, Krishna is telling Brahma Sutra Padai Shaiva. Even Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra is also describing the specific knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and it is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Hetu Madbir Vinishchitaya. In a very definitive way, the Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, if heard from a pure devotee, it will impart to us the correct knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetragna, and talks about Hetu Madbir, cause and effect. So the Supreme Person of God, Krishna, is the highest authority in explaining this knowledge. The best person who can describe to us Bhagavad Gita hai. So who is the best person to describe? It is the Lord Himself. So there is no the need for any other addendum to it. और किसी का मतलब क्या बोलते हैं विश्लेषण हमें नहीं चाहिए. तो प्रभुपाद क्यों लिख दिया, प्रभुपाद ने क्यों लिख दिया था? Prabhupada did not reanalyze what Krishna has told. Prabhupada has put it in those words which is easy for us to understand. He has not deviated from what Krishna has said. जो भगवान ने कहा है उससे उन्होंने किंचित रूप भी deviate नहीं हुए. But he has used it, he has presented to us in such a way that people who are less knowledgeable like me can easily understand Bhagavad Gita without deviating from the purpose given by the Lord Himself, the actual meaning given by Lord Himself. So, as a matter of course, learned scholars, standard authorities always give evidence from previous authorities. So, to make it easy, bona fide acharyas like Prabhupada, they describe Bhagavad Gita with further references from the Shastras. So first he says this is according to different sages. तो भगवान भी कह रहे हैं अनेक ऋषियों ने विश्लेषण किया है इसके बारे में. And as far as the sages are concerned, besides himself, कृष्णा क्या बोलते हैं, मेरे अलावा आप जो तुम सुनने वाले हो इसके अलावा अनेक ऋषियों ने इसका विश्लेषण कर दिया है. So, so Vyasadeva, the author of Vedanta Sutra, is also a great sage. And in Vedanta Sutra, duality is perfectly explained. Lekin Vyasadeva is not considered among the rishis that Krishna is talking about. Because there is no difference between what Vyasadeva presented and what Krishna is presenting. Because Vyasadeva is Krishna himself. And Bhagavad Gita is the literary incarnation of Krishna. So, Vyasadeva's father Parashara was also a great sage, and he writes in his books of religiosity, Aham Tam Cha Adhanye. So, इसका मतलब है, we, you, and I, and various other living entities are all transcendental. मैं, आप, और बाकी सब दिव्य है. Although in the material bodies, लेकिन इस वक्त हम भौतिक देह में बंधे हुए हैं. Now we are fallen into the ways of three modes of material nature. अब हम त्रिगुणों के शिकार हो चुके हैं. And according to our different karma, we have come into a particular body. तो अनेक कार्य और गुण के अनुसार हमें ये देह मिला है. किसी जीव को एक वराह का रूप मिला है, किसी जीव को चींटी का रूप मिला है, और हमें by some good fortune we have come to the stage of being human beings. The super soul, which is infallible, is uncontaminated by the three qualities of nature. But the जीवी, conditioned soul, has got influenced by the three modes. But एक और क्षेत्रज्ञ है, जो परमात्मा है, he will never be conditioned by the three modes. And he is always transcendental. अपनी दिव्यता को वो कभी खोएंगे नहीं. So similarly, in the original Vedas, this distinction between soul, supersoul, and body is made, especially in Kata Upanishad. तो अनेक उपनिषद है जो विश्लेषणात्मक रूप से आत्मा, परमात्मा, देह, इसके बारे में विश्लेषणात्मक रूप से बहुत ही गहरा ज्ञान हमें देता है. So there is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya, by which one depends simply upon food for existence. कुछ स्तर के जीव ऐसा है, अन्नमय है, मतलब उनका पूरा जिंदगी अन्न को खोजने में, in search of food, they spend their entire lives. There are jivas in that category, lower forms of life. Annamaya, one depends simply upon food for existence. Even a human being in lower consciousness can lead this animalistic kind of life. When Shastra says Dvipada Pashu, एक मानव को द्विपाद पशु कब कहते हैं? When is a human being called as no different than an animal, and his consciousness is like of that of an animal, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. तो निद्रा, आहारा, भय, मैथुना, इसी कार्यों में जब मानव उलझा रहता है, उसको द्विपाद पशु कहा जाता है. So that annamaya, food, eat exists. All the animals do that. So there is a materialistic realization of the supreme. तो जब मानव इस स्तर पे रहता है, तो अपने दुनिया को वो भौतिक दृष्टिकोण से देखता है. भगवान को भी, even if by some good fortune he comes to know about some God, he will understand God in a materialistic way. That God is the provider, मुझे application लिख के देना है, वो देता रहेगा. And he will provide me material benefits. So his thinking will be limited to this materialistic way of approaching life. Then there is pranamaya. So annamaya, the next एक और स्तर है, ऊंचा स्तर pranamaya. This means that after realizing supreme absolute truth in foodstuff, one can realize the absolute truth in living symptoms. तो भगवान के दिए हुए सौलभ दिया, the facilities given by the Lord, including food, by appreciating it, we can understand the Supreme Lord, Pranamaya. So one can realize the absolute truth in the living symptoms or life forms. So, in the next stage of understanding, it thinks beyond just existing by eating food. केवल आहार ढूंढते हुए अपना जिंदगी को व्यर्थ नहीं करता है. He starts thinking, oh, there's a higher power who is giving me things, and I must be indebted to this higher power. So this way he starts thinking. And then there is Jnanamaya. In Jnanamaya, the living symptom develops to the point of thinking, feeling, willing. तो ज्ञानमय स्तर पे जीव सोचने की क्षमता रखता है और फिर वो अभी like he's thinking, there is a higher level of thinking now. He's trying to understand on why I am getting, why some other jiva is not getting. What are the factors that determine what somebody gets in his life? So karma, guna, all this he starts understanding. Then there is Brahman realization and realization called Vijnanamaya. फिर और दूसरे स्तर पे जब जाएगा तो वो परमात्मा के बारे में, आत्मा के बारे में सोचेगा और ब्रह्मन स्तर के बारे में सोचेगा. तो this stage is called Vijnanamaya. More scientific, very analytically, he is studying the things around him, by which the living entity's mind and life symptoms are distinguished from the living entity himself. मैं आत्मा हूं, मेरे मतलब I am not the body, I am soul. मैं आत्मा हूं, मैं देह नहीं हूं. इस आत्मा को एक देह मिला है. So he comes to this stage of understanding. The next supreme stage is Anandamaya realization of realization of all blissful nature. Anandamaya Abhyasat. So he knows that transcendental happiness is this eternal constitutional position, and somehow he has lost that position. So now he is trying to search after that position in various ways. So it's called Anandamaya realization. So these are the 5 stages of Brahman realization, which is called as Brahmapucha. तो ब्रह्मपुच्छा, ब्रह्मन को समझने का 5 स्तर है. So what are those 5 stages? Annamaya, then Pranamaya, Gnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, or Anandamaya. So Anandamaya is coming to the final frontier of understanding God, soul, and what is the relationship between God and soul, and who is God. So he comes to that stage. Out of these, the first 3, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Gnanamaya, involve field of activities of living entities. क्षेत्र के बारे में जानकारी मिलता जाएगा in different stages of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Gnanamaya. The transcendental to these fields of activities is the Supreme Lord, who is called Anandamaya. तो आनंदमय भगवान के बारे में सही तरीके से जानकारी कब मिलेगा? At this Anandamaya stage. And he will also start understanding that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. In the previous stage, he understood Vijnanamaya stage that he is not the body, he is soul. Now, in the next stage, he understands that I am a part and parcel of that Supreme Lord. So in Vedanta Sutra also, the Supreme Lord is called Anandamaya Abhyasat. One is always used to Ananda. And since we are a part, amsha of, क्योंकि हम भगवान के अंश हैं, तो हम भी आनंदमय अभ्यासात. We're always constitutionally blissful in nature. But you see, in this world, we are always full of shoka. That means we are in the wrong place. So, by Lord's mercy, by Guru's mercy, when we start analyzing these things and start getting into devotional service in a bit to go back home, back to Godhead, then our journey towards regaining our Anandamaya, rediscovering our Anandamaya position, because it is covered, it's not lost. तो ढका हुआ है अभी. So what does Krishna consciousness do? Krishna consciousness reveals this. It uncovers this ajnana and it reveals to us what is already there with us. It doesn't make us Krishna conscious. It reveals our original Krishna consciousness, the stage of Krishna consciousness to us. So then at this stage, the living entity becomes perfect. परिपूर्ण हो जाता है, मतलब शुद्ध भक्त बनने की ओर वो आगे बढ़ता है. So this is the real picture of the Supreme Lord, the supreme knower of the field, and the living entity as subordinate knower and the nature of the field of activities. So Prabhupada, very elaborately, before Krishna begins the further descriptions, आगे बढ़ने से पहले Prabhupada ji is giving us a summary of what we can expect in the rest of the chapter. In the rest of the chapter, we can understand the supreme position of the Supreme Lord, the inferior knower position of Jiva, and the various material things that are around us, and knowledge of higher the higher worlds, Vaikuntha Loka and Goloka. At least we will come to stage of trying to know that there is another Loka. This Loka is a Loka where there are Vikrutis, and there is another Loka where we are in our original constitutional position. And Krishna in the next chapters also talks about how we can regain our original consciousness, not rediscover our original consciousness. So we've just come to the end of the 40 minutes almost. So we'll not go ahead with the next slokas, 6 and 7, 8 to 12, we will not go ahead. I'll just talk about a further few things. So why was this Mahabharata written? Because Mahabharata was written to make it even further easier for people of Kali Yuga to understand Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and the Panchama Purushartha. So, taking through the journey of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Mahabharata and Ramayana, which are Itihasas, try to bring a learner to the stage where he starts thinking about the higher self. So, Prema Pumarto Mahan, so it comes through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, Mahabharata makes it easy. Ramayana makes it easy for us to understand God, and that Bhagavan, Atma, and other relational things between the two. So with Mahabharata, and what is happening? There is entertainment, there is enlightenment, and there is education. So only education is very difficult for people of Kali Yuga to follow. So entertainment, enlightenment, education, these are possible through Ramayana and Mahabharata. So that is why it was written. And within Mahabharata, there is Bhagavad Gita, the topmost knowledge. So thank you for joining me today. We will again meet tomorrow at the same time, 8:50. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.